welcome to another video. It is me, Desiree, and today we're going to talk about this new little palette from Too Faced. This is the Pop-Tarts palette. I didn't even know they were coming out with this. I don't really follow Too Faced that much. The only reason I know they have new stuff is because I see it on Ulta's website, or I saw it when I was walking around at Ulta, and that's how I found this. It's the Pop-Tarts Brown Sugar Cinnamon palette. I feel like they had two different ones. One of them was like a little more berry toned palette, but I loved the look of this one a lot. It was $27. They had it on a tiny little display like off in the corner, so maybe they had just got it in. So front of the packaging, super cute, but look at the actual palette. Like, I don't know why this is not what I was expecting by looking at this box, but it looks like an actual Pop-Tart. Like, you could see the crust over here, and then they just wrote brown sugar cinnamon in like some icing. I don't know why, I just don't like that. Anyway, the inside of the palette, of course, is what's important, and this is what got me. They did have a tester out there, and I didn't swatch any of the shades, but the richness and the beautifulness of these tones just were like speaking to me. And I did go back and forth about it because I'm like, another brown warm palette, like nobody needs another warm brown palette. But I couldn't look away. It was so beautiful. Maybe it was just like the way it looked in the store, like these shimmers were just like I just wanted to reach in and touch them. These beautiful mattes looked rich and smooth and creamy. I had to bring it home with me. This kind of reminds me of like something Makeup Revolution would do. You know how they'll collaborate with literally anybody and anything and just do like some crappy collection? Anyway, that's kind of what I thought of this. I was like, Pop-Tarts, it's kind of like a Makeup Revolution kind of thing. But either way, I bought it. I thought it was kind of cute. They did say that this was scented, but it doesn't smell like that. It doesn't smell like anything food. To me, it just smells like the glue of the packaging and like the cardboard. I don't know, I can't really smell it. And I honestly don't smell it at all until I start using it on my eyes, and I think because I'm like disturbing the shadows, that's when I kind of get that smell. But it doesn't, to me, smell like food or anything sweet, sugary, or Pop-Tarty. Yeah, it says smells like brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts. I don't get it. But on Ulta's website it says, vibrant brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart inspired shades deliver one swipe payoff. Buttery soft textures blend like a dream. It's a cruelty-free brand, of course. And then they just describe all of the shades. So I'm gonna go through all of the shades one by one, swatch them, tell you what I think of them. And I also am gonna demonstrate this look I did. So let's just start with the top row, and we're just gonna work our way this way. This first one here is a shimmer. It's called Bite Me. They call this a champagne with purple and soft gold pearl shimmer. I guess I could see the purple, kinda. I don't know. I don't really see purple in that. I've never even noticed it once that I've used it. The thing I do notice about this though is that it has a hard pan. I used this one time with my finger and already it's like sealed over. You can't use me anymore. It still works with a brush because the brush kind of breaks through that like hardness. But swatching it now, like using it on my finger is the way I prefer, but I'm not able to do that now because it's just unusable. And that is my biggest pet peeve when it comes to shimmer shadows. I have to be able to use them with my fingers, and they cannot get hard pan or it will drive me crazy. So that's a stain from something else, but that is the swatch of the shade here. I do have that one on my inner corner, and I've also enjoyed that shade on the lid, but like I said, I haven't been able to use it more than once because the first time I used it, it got hard panned. The next shade is a beautiful matte. They describe this as a warm golden brown. It's this one here called Big Toaster Energy. I think that's so cute. These mattes, oh, they're so rich and buttery smooth. Like, they're not thin and dusty at all. They're so good. I wish this whole palette was just mattes. It's so beautiful. I do have pretty much all of the shades on today, and I'll show you the demo here in a little bit. But yeah, love that shade, blends like a dream, really pretty. The next one here is called Big Sugar Cinnamon. It's a shimmer right here that they describe as golden bronze with soft gold pearl shimmer. This one right here. So again, with the shimmers, this is the one I actually have on my lid today. They're not my favorite. I'm really glad there's only 3 in here. I wish there were less. but it feels okay when you're touching it, I guess, but it doesn't stick to the lid that well. This one especially is super flaky. Like, it falls everywhere, and not just during application, but like even now I can see sparkles right here under my eyes. It doesn't stick to the lid very well. It's super flaky and thin, and it kind of like cheapens the look. Like, even as I was doing this, I think that's how I described it, like it cheapened it up. It looks nice in a swatch because I'm going out of my way to like do something with it, but when you're trying to get this on your eye, it's impossible to work with and really, really flaky. The next one here, called Dust the Crust, they call Dark Red Brown. This one right here, another really beautiful matte. This is the one I was saying has a little trouble blending, and this one also feels a little bit thin, but it still looks really pretty. I have this just on my outer corner here. It's a nice, just beautiful dark matte shade with some red brown color to it. This is one I do like to use on top of other things. Like, if I've tried to go in with this just as the first shade, it's gonna stick, it's not gonna blend that well, but it's been working well for me in the way that I've been using it, which is kind of like deepening up the outer corner, lower lash line, stuff like that. This one here, called In My Feelings, I have been calling it In My Feelings this whole time I've been using it. I only noticed it a minute ago that it's called In My Feelings. Anyway, they describe that as a light golden beige. It's also a matte shade. This one is so good. I like to use this one for putting on my whole entire lid, like before I even start. That's what I did today. Kind of like setting your primer, I guess. Put it all over the whole lid. It helps everything blend so nicely. It's a really light color, very, I was gonna say similar to my skin tone, but you can't really see it, it's kind of light, but I could see it when it's on my eyes, and I do use it today so you could see it in action. That shade is perfect in here because it helps everything just blend so, so nicely. The next one here, called Spread the Love, they call a deep neutral brown. This one they do describe as satin, but maybe in the right lighting? I've never noticed a satin finish on this one at all. And I've used it several times. It just, for me, performs like a matte, but again, nice, rich, smooth, buttery, and really, really blendable. The next shade is my absolute favorite. It's called Hot and Poppin'. They describe this as a medium neutral brown with gold pearl matte with shimmer. So it's this one right here. It looks so boring, but you know what? It's the best shade in the palette. Let's do it here on the side. It's such a pretty golden brown color, but it has this sparkle to it that is so pretty. I don't usually like sparkle infused matte shades because a lot of the time, especially ColourPops, they just like fly everywhere. The sparkles fly out of the shadow and it performs just like a matte, except you have glitter all over your face now. This one doesn't do that. Like, the sparkle stays with the shadow, and I love it so much. It's such a pretty color. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see the sparkle in there, but it's so beautiful. I wanna wear that one every day. I absolutely love that color a lot. And then the last one here, called Get Toasted, here on the bottom corner, is another shimmer shade. They describe this as a deep coppery bronze metallic. Again, the shimmers, it's gonna look nice in a swatch, but it does not look like that on the eyes. It just looks like flat and dull on my eyes. I never really get this kind of color from it when I'm putting it on. It's just super thin, again, really flaky. It doesn't have like a nice, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it doesn't have a nice one swipe touch like they say. Like, I'm not getting this and going, ooh, I'm having to build it and build it and build it. It doesn't stick that well. It's just not my favorite shade in the palette. My favorite is Hot and Poppin'. But when you have a palette like this that's really small, every single shade needs to be great because there aren't very many options in here. And for every single shimmer to be a dud kind of sucks. The mattes are really good, but I definitely wouldn't go back to get the other one, like the strawberry palette. I do love the mattes in here and I will continue to use them. But yeah, that is my take on the palette. Let's jump into the demo if you want to see how I got this look. Okay, let's jump into the look. So I'm gonna use the Morphe V205 brush. I just bought this and I love it so much. I'm gonna go in with the shade In My Feelings just to kind of put something down all over the lid, because I feel like, especially this darker one here and this one, they need a little bit of help to blend. So this one's really nice for that. It just kind of a really light color just all over the lid. It's what I think people would use to set their primer if you're into that. I do have eye primer on as well. The Morphe eye primer that I love. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the whole look in this palette because I'm just so used to my mirror, but I'll try. And of course I am doing eyes first because the shimmers are going to give me a little fallout, and it's just easier to swipe it away like that. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. It's not too pigmented, so it's just a little something. I mean, I guess it has pigment, but it's not like a full heavy duty pigmented eyeshadow. We're gonna go in with my favorite shade, Hot and Poppin', right down here. And we're just gonna do in the crease and kind of just all over the place. In the crease, above, the inner part here. Just giving it a nice little blend. And I love about this shade, what I love about the shade, is that the sparkle doesn't fall everywhere. Sometimes you get these matte shades that have like glitter infused into them, and the glitter goes all over your face. It pretty much is a matte shadow by the time you're done blending, like the glitter's gone. But with this one, you can still see a little of the sparkle, and I love it. It's so pretty. I love the tone of it. Really, really easy to blend. I'm gonna go in with the shade down here called Spread the Love, that nice matte. And I'm just gonna kind of blend it out here on the outer part. Cool. I'm gonna grab a different brush and we're gonna go in with the shade Dust the Crust, this one out here. This is the one that I do have a little trouble blending, but I haven't tried it like all over the eye or anything. I've really only been using it on the outer corner, so it's not a huge deal. But I find that once I have other shades already on my lid, this one does blend quite nicely. It's just when you kind of go in with it on its own, it tends to kind of stick and not really move that nice. So that's why I love that shade in my Feelings, because I feel like it really helps everything blend really nicely. Ooh, that's a pretty shade. I would just love that extra little like darkness in the outer corner. Okay, I know it kind of disappears once I relax my eyes, you know, but it's fine. You could still see it. I'm gonna go back with the other brush and I'm gonna get that shade Big Toaster Energy. Just a little bit. I wanna try to just use as many shades as I can. Just here. To kind of add a little bit more depth here, because I feel like it was just a little lighter than I wanted it to be. Especially once I added that darker color there. I just kind of want something that looks, you know, like a nice gradient, I guess. Acting like I know what I'm talking about over here. Okay, nice. And then for the shimmer, I'm gonna go with the shade Brown Sugar Cinnamon. I did swatch both of these just now because I wanted just to kind of get a feel for which one I wanted to use. Let's go for that one. And again, like, they're not the best shimmers. The mattes are definitely the star of the palette here. God, that shimmer looks awful. And the shimmers in this palette, they're just not very good. Like, it's falling all over my face, which is fine. I'm fine wiping away fallout. There's like a piece right here. Okay, they're very flaky, they're very dry. They stick okay onto the lid, but as nice as it looked before, just nice, rich, beautiful tones, I feel like putting this on like made it, like it cheapened it. I just really, really, really do not like the shimmers in the palette. I do wish it was all mattes, but what are you gonna do? Okay, gonna finish up the rest of my face and we'll finish off the eyes in a second. Okay, everything else is on. I put on the Grande Drama Thickening Mascara. I think it's so good, and I swear it's growing my lashes. I could swear. Anyway, I'm gonna go in with a Big Toaster Energy here on the lower lash line. Just a little bit down here. I was thinking about putting on some black liner as well. I think I might do that. Just something nice and simple on the lower lash line. And I can see the sparkle. I don't know if it's new that it's fallen from here to here, but I can see it down here. And I did wipe away the fallout, but maybe like some stayed behind, or maybe that's just new sparkle falling. You know what I mean? It could be either, but either way, there is sparkle down here. I'm gonna get a little bit of dust to the crust over here. Just a tiny little bit on the outer, like tiny little bit of my eye, just to kind of open it up a little bit. I think I'm gonna leave it. I don't think I'm gonna do any lower lash line. I kind of like it just like that. But I am gonna get another brush and I'm gonna use that shade called Bite Me right here. It's a nice little shimmery shade that I like as an inner corner. Little pop. I can't use it with my fingers anymore because it got hard pan, but with the brush, I'm able to kind of break through it because the brush is a little bit pokey. So it kind of stabs through the shadow really nicely. But I do like this shade as an inner corner pop. Just a little something. All right, look complete. I have a feeling I'm gonna regret not putting on lower lash mascara, but I can always add that later. But yeah, that's it. That is the look. I have really enjoyed every single look that I've done with the palette. It's just that like the shimmers are a little flaky, but the mattes are really, really nice. So yeah, back to me. One thing I did forget to mention about the packaging, it is cardboard and it has no magnets. So the palette just fits. So if you kind of try to close it, it'll close sometimes, but not every time. Because you gotta kind of like lift it a little bit to fold in here. But once it's in there, it's stuck. Like it's not gonna open or anything like that. It's a nice fit. It just doesn't have any magnets. So just a heads up about that. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you got this palette. I would love to know what you think of it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss my next one. And I will see you later in another video. Goodbye.